Welcome to TikTok Live. Have fun interacting with the host and other viewers in real time. And remember to create a safe viewing experience by following our community guidelines. The community double standards, I call them. It's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. Who's going to be first to join? Norman Einstein, you are number one. Dingus Master, real Amy Ty, the crazy cat lady's here. The attorney, Heather Mack, my girl. How you feeling today? Miss Magrana, Gasper Jimenez, Gasper Jimenez, Azaline 123. Hi, girly. Jeremy, Pluto Sal, FWA Mikey, KDA, hey, St. Tristy, Pluto Side, Nick 1970. Someone said something. Kansas man. What's up? Good evening, my friends. Welcome aboard the train. Crawl on in, smash yourselves into the back, leave room for your friends, and remember the rules on the train. Hi, Denise. How are you, girl? No spitting, no loud radios, and no preaching on the train. If you preach on the train, you get the conductor's whistle and you get kicked off. As long as I got moderators here, and if they leave, I'll do it myself. Do you believe that if you go to bed with itchy but you wake do you believe that if you go to bed with itchy but you wake up with sticky fingers? That doesn't make sense. Ken Sussman, rewrite the sentence for me so I can read it, and I'm happy to go with your joke there. I'm doing all right, man. What's Heather got to say about had a good therapy session? It's nice, man. I'm happy for you. Did you get a new person? It's crappy when you get a therapist, isn't it? It's just kind of a jerk, you know. I think that happens to people more than they want to let on. I am on YouTube. Nobody's on there yet, but I will look away from time to time to try to check out the questions that we have there if anybody joins. But yeah, you get a therapist, and it's one of these guys who or gals who just like thinks that they like know it all, and they're too educated for you, and they're too smart, and they're too slick, and then they just end up looking down on you and talking down to you. And I don't need that from anybody. I'm a smart guy. My doctor can talk to me like I'm not a baby. Whoever it is. So, I think that's really insulting when you find someone like this. So if you're going to go to therapy, find someone who you're comfortable with, find someone who you love. Hi, Dad. What's up, Vivu? Edward on TikTok. I love what you do. I love what you do, man, which is being here with us on a Wednesday night. I'm thinking about moving this back to 7 on Wednesdays. I did it at 8 on Wednesdays. We're in the central zone here. I did it on 8 o'clock because producer Jay, that's when he was available. But he's been so busy, he hasn't been able to join me. So, it might convenience me to do it more at like 7 p.m. So, I might back it off an hour. I will let people know if I decide to do that. But we are here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and every Sunday at 10:30, 11:30 on the East Coast. To talk about whatever the fuck you guys want to talk about. We bash religion and I rant about stuff, but it's really you guys who drive the conversation. So I appreciate what what you bring to the table. If you got questions, I'll answer anything. If I can answer it, if I don't know what it is, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'm not afraid to do that. Got a death threat. Yeah, I've had a few over the months here on TikTok, but I did have somebody respond to the video where I fired Christianity. Very popular video. And really the positive comments outweigh the negative ones like 1,000,000 to 1 on that video. But really, there's some butthurt Christians out there that are like, you're just talking about human nature, and you're talking about white people, and you're talking about all this shit. But someone made some kind of comment like, it made me think, and then it made me mostly think about your murder, my murder. I reported it like right away, and I don't generally report stuff. But when it's like that, I was like, all right, you know what? That's got to be reported. Didn't take TikTok 5 fucking minutes to tell me that there was no violation. You can apparently think about anybody's murder that you want on TikTok, and it's not a violation. So, they really got to get their shit together, don't you? It's embarrassing. How is that not a violation? How is that not a threat? I could barely find the right category to put it in. I'm like, but really, when someone's talking about murdering you, I think that's probably there's probably a violation, but they didn't see it that way, and it took them less than 5 minutes to decide, and then just crapped out on it. But I see that there's really not very Christ, like really Christian. I get that all the time too. Somebody who's like, I'd throw hands if somebody like said, if an atheist walked up to my kid and told him there was no God, I'd throw hands. I'm like, again, I'm like, I can do that because I'm not a Christian. But if you're going to pretend to be a Christian, turn the other cheek was like the first thing we learned. That was before love thy neighbor. Turn the other cheek was like the first thing that my parents and our church drilled into our heads. To me, still is what I think of first when I think of Christ, a guy who didn't fight back. He took the high road, turned the other cheek, let people murder him, let people string him up, whatever. Non-violent, right, for the most part. Um, and I feel like that's just gone out the window. Modern Christians have no idea what the fuck um, nonviolence is about. So she's like, yeah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, if a Christian tells my kid that there is a God, maybe I will punch him in the face. But that's because I don't have to turn the other cheek. I'm not a Christian. I don't need to follow that shit. Am I cisgender? Yes. Do I seem to like I'm trans too? That was cool if I do, but yeah, I'm a cisgender man. Thanks for asking. Acid tongue atheist is here. What's up? You know what? I haven't. I actually started looking for the man from her, so I'm getting closer. Acid tongue. I will. Um, I didn't watch a preview or anything. I don't remember seeing that, but I do remember like getting in front of the TV and trying to like bring it up. And I think maybe my girlfriend found it, and then we got distracted and something else went on. But I'm getting there. I haven't forgotten about that. Everyone is trying to feed others with meat, and yet they themselves have not tasted milk. Um, not sure what that means. Henry Perez 7755. Everyone is trying to feed others with meat, and yet they themselves have not tasted milk. What do you want milk for? Milk's for babies, and then it should only be milk from your species. If you're still drinking milk, and I know that's a metaphor. I get it, obviously, but it brings to mind um, uh, the milk lobby in America and how like so many adult Americans still like drink glasses of milk. Like it's like something. Ugh, how do you do that, man? Cow's milk is meant to turn a baby calf into a 1,200-pound heifer in a year, right? And somehow we think that's like good for us, man. It's disgusting. I consider myself an evangelical atheist. All right, Edward on TikTok, that's cool. I don't know. I consider myself a militant atheist. I don't really evangelize because I'm not really trying to convert people. I think that's it makes people nuts about atheists when we seem like we're trying to turn people into atheists who already have a faith, and it's like, I come up a little short there. I don't want to be seen as the guy who's like doing what religious people do, going door to door and like trying to talk people into my way of thinking. I think we need to see change in society so that happens on its own. Uh, 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 I get you humor into my comment. Where are you from, buddy? Me puedes hablar en español if it's más fácil para ti. Uh, yeah, I'm with you on the ice cream. Milk has its uses, cooking and this and that. And sometimes I try to use almond milk and soy milk and something. Sometimes it's like the recipes. They say you can just use, uh, you know, substitute, but it's like some shit doesn't cook up or bake up right if you just don't use good old fashioned milk for that. And ice cream, I'll never be able to give up ice cream. What's my favorite train line? I don't know. The Union Pacific is right out the door here, so I guess I'll give it to them. Um, I don't really have a favorite train line. I think they're probably all just as scummy as the rest of them. It's like all corporations. We need a national fund to pay for atheist billboards to go across from the dumb religious ones. Yeah, you know what? That'd be the day, right? I think that's probably that would cross the line of church and state for them, right? If they try to get government money to put up atheist billboards. I'm not sure that the Christian billboards are really sponsored by the government, but you can do it yourself. We've done it. We've put up atheist billboards. You raise a little money, you get your atheist group together, you raise the money. Um, and you put up an atheist billboard. And we do need more of that. I think you're absolutely right. It's a lot of fun. Did you have a Union Pacific set when you were little, Henry? That's awesome. What about almond milk? Yeah, I just mentioned almond milk. I like almond milk. I generally buy almond milk. The girlfriend's been trying oat milk, which I don't know. It's a tad chalky, but when you dump it on cereal or something like that, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Yeah, I like chocolate milk too. I like the taste of it, but drinking milk is for you just it's not good for you. Don't drink cow's milk. We need a national fund. I read that one. Uh, how do atheists think the universe got here? We don't have to think about how the universe got here. There's experts who do that for a living. It's kind of like I don't think about how the electricity reaches from the transformer out on the wall into my building. Well, okay, I do, but just because I know something about electricity. But you know what I mean. I don't think about um, the areas of expertise of other experts. I try to concentrate on what I do, and I don't worry about what other people are working on, right? And when the experts tell me how the universe got here, I believe that they've worked sincerely hard on that, and that they have spent money on their education, and that they take their job seriously, and their research gets peer reviewed, and it gets put out there for everyone for the edification of all of us. So atheists, there's no binding. For one thing, there's nothing that binds us together other than we lack a belief in God or gods. But it's not some group, some club where like, oh, atheists think. Every atheist has different, different opinions on shit like that. But we all know what we know about the universe, and it's not to be not believed. It's not to be disputed. It's to be accepted or rejected if you're just someone who likes to reject the truth and facts. So you don't care about your purpose. What's our purpose, buddy? There's no purpose. We're just another animal on the planet trying to survive. Is April 1st the only atheist holiday? I don't know, but I tend to think that the atheists accept all holidays because we all like holidays just as much as the next guy. So we're able to go ahead and absorb all the holidays from all religions and all the secular ones. I think Flag Day is a good atheist holiday, right? There's other ones. Um, Damn, man, let me take you out for a McChicken. What's up? Hepatitis 4? What, what, what's hepatitis or hepatitis IV? What is it, buddy? 4 or IV? That's a hell of a handle, man. When you name yourself hepatitis, uh, you got a sense of humor. You know what? When the McChicken first came out, I am old enough to remember. Wild Heart, my guy's here. Wildheart, hey, Atheist Underground, Gutsy, eating streams on my channel now. If you ever want to join, all right. I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube, buddy, but I appreciate you and thanks for being here, Wildheart. I will try to do that. I was just saying that I remember when the McChicken first came out in the late '70s, I want to say, and I never liked McDonald's burgers. Even as a kid, I would eat the fish fillet because I wasn't crazy about burgers. As a kid, I like them better than today than I do then, but when the McChicken first came out, it was a revelation. We were just like, "Wow, what is this?" And I don't know if you know this, but the McChicken used to be a regular size sandwich. Now it's like a piece of shit, little like toss off, like a dollar sandwich, right at McDonald's. And they're tasty. I gotta give it to them. It's gross. It's that pink slime shit, but it's like a McNugget, bigger and flatter. But back in the day, it was a regulation size sandwich, more like their other chicken sandwiches are now that are made out of more breast meat, and not the the processed chicken shit. But the McChicken in the day was basically exactly the same, but it was regulation size, man, and we couldn't get enough of that shit in 1978. I'll tell you what, you should forfeit your holidays. Why is that? What do you think about the ridiculous Noah's Ark Museum in Kentucky? Yeah, those, what a joke. Kentucky's a joke with that. Thanks, Sway Work Co. um, Kentucky ought to be ashamed of themselves for supporting that shit. And I can't wait till they go under because they're going to go under. Always the unmoved mover argument. Why does there need to be a God for the universe to be here? There doesn't need to be. We don't know that there is. There's no evidence that there is. There might be, but it's the least plausible solution. They have all kinds of evidence to follow, and they figure out what they figure out by making conclusions and extrapolations based on the evidence. And if there was any God in there, then half of the scientists out there who are studying this would be like, well, it was probably, but the fact is that none of them are. There's no cosmologists, there's no quantum physicists, there's no, astrophysicists. None of those guys are like, well, you know what? We looked at all this shit here, and boy, there's got to be a creator behind that. It doesn't happen. It's laughable. And when people bring up the science, they're always like bringing up Newton and Galileo. People like believed in God 500 fucking years ago before compressor went on next door. That was weird. Can you hear that through the phone? But yeah, I never understood that shit. Why people are like lay people who have no fucking idea about cosmology are just like, oh hey, you think the universe came from? Do I support cheeseburgers? Absolutely. Atheist in South Dakota. I support cheeseburgers wholeheartedly. What about the predictions in the holy books? None of them are worth shit. None of them are. I think Biddy Buddha and I are probably going to do um, a video and maybe a series or maybe a live where we talk about how Jesus failed in every biblical prophecy fulfillment that ever was. So Yeah, sorry, Franklin. I don't know. If you want to believe that that shit is real, then you can go ahead. But none of it is. After the fact, they say, "Oh, see, this fulfilled that prophecy." But yeah, it's nice stories. You don't like cheese on hamburgers? What? What is that? A hamburger is barely worth eating without cheese on it. Man, nothing better than melted cheese on a burger. Religion's view of a god is the smallest version of the idea of a god, some dude with a beard. Yeah, And if you talk to religious people, they'll always back off of that. They're like, "Oh, we don't really think um, that God's a man with a beard. That's just they pay lip service to that shit." But we really know kind of underneath they do. Because the patriarchy is alive and well. No problem. Thanks, Waller. What do you think of the ontological argument? If you can imagine a maximally powerful God, that he must exist, basically. Like, yeah, ontological argument. It sounds like a big word for something fancy, and it's just stupid. It's like, so I can imagine, so a unicorn must exist because I can imagine it. Ontological arguments don't make any sense to me. I don't have any fucking patience for that bullshit. That's like, well, if you could conceive it, it must be true. Really? Okay. I can conceive, Megan Thee Stallion coming over tonight and making love to me. And that's not gonna fucking happen. Thoughts on Richard Dawkins? Big Dick Dawkins, did a lot for the atheist movement, and I can't take that away from him. Thanks, Ashley. Goodbye for getting blocked there. Whatever you did, I didn't see it, but you gone. Um, so yeah, I don't know. He's an old man, and I think he stuck his foot in his mouth. And he doesn't. His ideas are a little old fashioned compared to what people expect in today's world. And I don't know. I wouldn't have taken away his humanist award probably just because of his inability to express himself appropriately on Twitter. But he should probably just shut up and stay off of that stuff. I will say that. I will say that. You only eat vegan cheeseburgers. Mushroom 1962. Good for you, man. That's healthy. Betty Florence, hello, hello. The gayest twink is here. What's up? Do you know much about Mormons trying to bring about a theodemocracy in our country? No. Are they really trying hard at that? A theodemocracy. That's kind of a different word. Don't they just mean theocracy? Isn't that what they really mean by that? I'm more worried about the evangelicals pulling that off with and the hardcore Catholics on the Supreme Court than I am Mormons, who are really, I think, interested in making money more than anything else. John the Watcher, thanks for the follow, bud. Atheistic Reasoning, hi. You're a Sam Harris fan? Yeah, great brain. Sam Harris has got a great brain, and I don't have any real issues with Sam Harris. He's run afoul too of the ultra left right by refusing to stop criticizing Islam. And when I listen to what he's got to say about it, it's fairly reasonable. He's not a knee-jerk leftist liberal who's going to be like, oh, you can't say that, or you can't talk about that, or you're going to cancel that, or he's got valid points. When he says what he says. So I don't agree with him on everything, but I get where he's coming from most times. So yeah, Sam Harris, uh, uh, all right, he's all right with me. Chris Burrows, what's up, buddy? Wait, a guy with a beard, you're a god. God drove a truck. If God drove a truck, it'd be a lifted Dodge Ram with loud exhaust and turn signals he'd never use. Mormons do have the money. MJ Ultra, what's going on? Who's that gayest twink? Who wrote Denying God is Like Denying Gravity? Uh-uh. Uh-oh. Thoughts on Mark? I got a buddy, Mark. Yeah, Mark's, I don't know, Mark's interesting political theory. I haven't really read deeply into Marx, um, or any of those the thinkers that the communist movement used to kind of make up their messed up version of it. But I think from what I know, Marxism is something that has never really actually been tried, and it's nice in theory. I'm not sure that it could ever work, but I'm not Mister hating on Marx because that's equals communism. That's just dumb. I am a model railroader. Yeah, I can't really call myself that because nothing's set up, but I do. I got a bunch of stuff. Matt Hatter, what's up, dude? Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, I do have HO gauge model railroads. If you haven't watched the videos, you can see them on the. If you go down and scroll down, we've run over a couple things with the train. Where I throw some stuff under the train, and it's just a model railroad that we smash into stupid comments with. What I say is the most ridiculous story in the Bible? Holy shit! Are you kidding me? Um, God, I the floods, the creation story where we all somehow arose from three sons, one of whom died. Noah's Ark, the worldwide flood that a guy brought two of every animal from the whole world somehow, and the resurrection. I mean, the Bible is full of stuff that's so silly. It's so silly that's a good one. What's yours? The healthy crackhead asks the most ridiculous story in the Bible. There's tons of them. I take your pick, my friend. Every day I drop an F bomb. He does every evening. Wayne Knox Jr. Wayne W. Knox. Wayne W. Knox Jr. What's up, my friend? Well, it was my dad that said that. He sent me a letter trying to convert me to the gayest twink. Who's that? Denying God's like denying gravity. Groucho Marx, I like. Groucho Marx is funny. Who remembers Groucho Marx? By the light of a salt lamp, my girl from Kenosha is here. Did we establish that you're female? I'm sorry, I don't mean to assume. You got a pretty female eye right now. That's a new icon for you, right? It's a new biopic. Yeah, Harpo, a little quiet, but yeah, Groucho Marx was classic. Well, that's funny shit. If you haven't ever watched Marx Brothers movies, do yourself a favor and look for those on uh, on Netflix or wherever you can find them. I heard a shooting happened in Kenosha today or yesterday. I think it was Racine. 6 people got shot in Racine. I don't know about Kenosha, but Racine's just up the road, and yeah, I didn't look into it. It happens all the time, unfortunately. What's up, Atheist 12 for lifer? We're just hanging out, man, talking about what you guys want to talk about. What turned me away from religion? Reason. Just growing up and leaving my family and realizing that it's all just made up bullshit to either make people feel good or control them. Uh, Most ridiculous story I can get to heaven because some carpenter gave up a weekend. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, that the whole story of Jesus is pretty ridiculous from beginning to end. Hello from Minnesota. What's with the snowflakes? Please tell me it's not snowing already in Minnesota where you are. Uh, who's lagging? Am I lagging? I'm not getting any notifications. Religion has become very good at refuting inconsistencies with deflection. Yeah, they've done what they've had to do. How great was George Carlin? He was so great. We miss George Carlin every day. Uh, Mr. Boss Man, no preaching on the train. You didn't listen to the rules, buddy. I know you're going to disagree, but the Mad Hatter is ready for snow. Yeah, how's your pumpkins, man? Did you see my video? I just posted one before we went on, where I smash a pumpkin. Go check that one out, man. But yeah, I know you're ready for snow, man, and you're gonna get it because you live in Buffalo. It's probably just right around the corner for you. You better now refresh TikTok. Yeah, yeah. What's up from Toronto, Monty McLaughlin? 8. What's up, my friend? You misspelled signs. Tuck and roll, bud. Snow is beautiful. I can't deny it. I like snow for like the first 3 weeks of winter, and then when January comes around, I'm like, you know what? That's enough of that. My fave Bible story is when God murdered everyone, and then people went on about his goodness. He did it like 4 times, didn't he? God's really great. Meanwhile, like hellfire's raining down on Sodom and Gomorrah, burning people to cinders. Lag. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't know. I'm not usually it's YouTube. If it's me on this end, I'm not seeing any sign of it myself. Your comments are streaming right through. So I apologize. Um, Lagging so bad you're thinking this is Amtrak. That's crappy. I feel bad. I've got a crappy. Sometimes the internet connection isn't great. Um, yeah, sorry, dudes. I don't know what to do about that. It's showing me nothing but a solid, good connection. Uh, uh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna stay like that. I don't know. I guess I can refresh, or get off and go back on again. But yeah, um, the YouTube usually kicks me off if I've got lags right away. But what's up, V1NCX? Hey, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. V1NCX. What is that? If you were told you only have 1 year to live before you die, would you pray to God? No, the God that's going to kill me in a year. Why would you do that? Thanks, Dream Matrix. Aaron said he put some gold in a fire and out popped the golden calf to worship. Is that what he said? Is that where that came from? If I put gold in a fire and a calf popped out, that might be something to consider. Oh, Vince. All right, Vince X. I got you. Could be on TikTok saying, yeah, who knows? They're fucking with me. They're. I'm pretty sure that I'm being. Did you see the Smashing Pumpkins? Did you like that? Chaos Phoenix. I wonder if I was going to get in trouble for naming it that because of the band, obviously. And I came up through the '90s, and actually Billy Corgan lived down the road from me. Chicago band. If you didn't know that, and I actually lived literally like 2 blocks from the house that Billy Corgan grew up in. Yeah, you make sure your cryogenic freezing was paid off for sure. Thanks for joining. M1, a lot of numbers. M1999. Kelmac, 82. Hey, it's Liquid. Thanks for the likes, Vince. Vinch. Exodus says MJ Ultra 86. What the hell else we got going on today? I told you about my death threat. I love to read today that a retired bishop, a retired Episcopalian bishop, not a Catholic bishop, a retired Episcopalian bishop named Spong, John Shelby Spong. What if your last name is Spong? Spong. Um, got some pretty controversial things to say. Says that life after death in hell and in life after death in heaven and eternal damnation in hell are scare tactics invented by the church in a bid to control the masses. And he goes on and talks about how it's all made up, it's all bullshit. He believes in an afterlife apparently, but thinks that hell and heaven were made up by the church to control people. Wow, what a groundbreaking genius idea this guy has. But it's good to see like former clergy coming out and doing that. And he's a guy who's been um, talking for a lot of years about reforming Christianity and trying to make it relevant to the post-Darwinian world. Spong Bob. Yeah. No, now it's 21. Now it's 2021. I got a death threat and reported it to TikTok, and they told me it was no violation. Somebody said they were thinking about my murder after they watched the video where I fired Christianity. Grandpa, soggy ink tissue. You call me Grandpa? What's up? I am a grandpa. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo está? Black Cat Claw. Good to see you here. Nana in Virginia. Our girl. Thanks for being here. The godless lady. Can't believe it. Yeah, no, that happens all the time, though. Not all the time. There's Kevin Rubik's. What's up, bud? How you doing, man? I didn't see you shared a live with me, and I was not around until after it was over. But if I see you up, I'll jump on. I will, and we can go live together at some point. Let's figure that out and do that. Um, there's a lot of that kind of crap going around though. There's the death threats and other forms of real just ugly commenting that crazy cat lady has had to deal with, where she's like, basically, and you can like they're seeing the comment like, what about this is not wrong? If someone is um, threatening to kill you, that seems like that's pretty obvious violation, but no, not good enough for them to do anything about, and it literally took 5 minutes to decide it, two fuckers. I got banned for commenting for saying some food looked gross. Death threats are okay. You, what? What? Ew, that food's gross. What? You banned from commenting. Yeah, it's that kind of shit that non-crazy crazy cat lady's been going through too. And TikTok seems to be run by bigots. Maybe you mean not fun. Yeah, run by bigots. Yeah, I don't know. Run by. I think it's just run by people who aren't paying attention. I think they're overwhelmed and they need more help. Is the impression I get. But they got to fix it. And there's a new poll up, right? If you look in the comments section, then from TikTok today has a "We want to hear from you, man," and they're going to hear from me. Let me tell you what. I started doing it, and then I look and I scrolled down, and I realized it was like, man, it was long. It was like there was a lot of questions on there, and then some room for a little essay where you can talk about what they actually have going wrong. I beg everybody to get on and do that. If you're a creator, especially, get on, answer the questionnaire about TikTok. It can't hurt, right? And tell them how shitty they are when it comes to, because there's specific questions about the banning. I think I got a whisker out of place here. I tried to trim that shit today. I didn't shave today, but I trimmed up the old goatee. And then every time I get in the, so here's like a wild hair that's like sticking out, man. I don't like that. I got to get back there and touch it up a little better. I was banned from a Christian pastor for wishing her a happy birthday. What? Was it a J dub? They're like, we don't celebrate that. You're banned. Yeah, that's rough. Outback bloomin' onion. What's that about? You like an Outback bloomin' onion? Uh, Executioner Smo made the Smuff? Is it Smuff or Smo? You made the universe sweet. You did a good job, my friend. Wild hairs are the fun ones, yeah, especially if they're in your butt. Thanks. You like that? I didn't even. The girlfriend won't let me shave it off, and it starts getting big, and I and it's then it's like, and I kind of want to change, but now when I do it, I'm like, it helps offset my jowls. I feel like a little bit. It's awful white though, I look younger without it. I think because I got a bald head, I look like a baby. If I shave the goatee, then I look like a baby. In some ways, I'm God. Disprove me. uh, I'm God, which means you can't be. You can. Hey, boys, you can all be God. You're both pretty. Don't worry about it. Mm-mm. Thanks for the likes, Nana. Appreciate you. I don't ever go to Outback Steakhouse. Is there an Outback near you people? I don't have one anywhere even close to me. I don't even know where the closest one would be. Hi, Bunny Mummy. How are you? Grow a full-on mountain man beard though? That would take me forever. It does come in but I don't get much hair here, because I was blonde and kind of fair. So I get a pretty decent amount here, but if I grow it around here, I can get like a pretty decent Shakespearean chin strap, and the longer I wait, the more it'll come in. So when I was actually in college, I had a pretty full beard that I kept on for a couple of years, and it was fairly dark. It was fairly brown at that point, and I have not like really kept the full beard for very long. Um, have you been doing the goatee, Kev? All right, man, macho, macho. I had a friend, rest his soul. He died of alcoholism. Who used to argue with people that this is not a goatee. A goatee strictly is just the beard, right? If you have a mustache and a beard, he would argue that that's a Van Dyke. But a Van Dyke really a little bit different. Van Dyke's, after the Dutch master, the Van Dyke would have the beard and the mustache, but the mustache would have curls up, right? It would come out. That's a Van Dyke. But I think he's not technically wrong. A goatee really is just the beard when you shave your lip. Isn't atheist man absolute? What does that mean? Donna Murph, '08. Lady Gaga is God. Lady God. Lady God. Who doesn't love Lady Gaga, man? I'm a big fan. I'm sorry. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. Kirk Douglas. He finally died, didn't he? He was like 102, that guy. Man, did he last. Think about this. Castro killed 100 billion people. 100 billion people? That's a lot for a dude who lived on an island of what, 2 million or less? I don't know. Look, people, we all know Neil Peart was God. Come on. Yeah. I figure he could have lived longer if he was God, but I'm with you, man. Long live Neil Peart. That was too bad. Prove atheism. You can't. What's to prove? I've been to Outback in Georgia. It's all right. I think maybe I've been to one Outback a long time ago. Well, then you're the Superman 66696 says he's the Antichrist. Bring it, Superman. Uh, well, proving something is difficult to prove. Well, proving nothing is about as difficult to prove. Something is there, though nothing is. Yeah, there's no evidence for anything, so there's your evidence. That's more than you can say for the made up stories. You can't prove that Russell's Teapot's not out there somewhere. Matthew McConaughey is God. All right, God's a hillbilly with a charming smile and a what's his thing? What's his thing? What's he say? What's his catchphrase? The Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. Is that him? Patrick Stewart. I could do the Patrick Stewart. If I was a little bit slimmer, I got a pot belly, I got some soft in the middle. But if I was a little bit slimmer, I would get one of those. I would get one of those Star Trek onesies that they wore, and I would do a Patrick Stewart impression. Number one, make it so. Engage. You are trifling with the primal instincts of our species. Yes, I love Patrick Stewart. What a great fucking actor, and I feel I could do a decent impression. I wanted them to cast me as his son instead of, what was it, Tom Hardy back in the day when they made that terrible movie. If I'm Patrick Stewart, read your mind. But hey, at least atheists don't condescend and fearmonger you, which is yeah, that's true. Thank you. You're cute, Money Mummy. I love you. I keep getting older and I stay the same age. Yes, 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 they do. Yes, they do. Thanks, X, your comments. What's that mean, Carletti? Thanks, X, your comments. I don't mean it. How dare you diss Tom Hardy? Yeah, Tom Hardy is God. Thanks, Ree. Hey, what's up with you, girl? Ree Woo is here. What's up? You got a cute puppy. I saw that on your gram, on your Insta, right? Clover. That is too cute. Yeah, I love Tom Hardy. I'm not. I didn't. It was so long ago. I think somebody told me that was him playing that role where he plays Picard's clone, right? That goes bad and turns evil, and he didn't look anything like Patrick Stewart. I'm like, how is this his clone? It didn't make any sense. And the movie was a terrible way to end that run for the Next Generation movies. But Harry Styles has got Harry Styles, be still my heart. I dated a girl from Cuba. We confused her. People work so hard, no time for kids or family. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet she is, Ree. Yeah, Tom Hardy played Bane, and he had to put like elevator shoes on so they could be taller than Christian Bale. He's not much of a big dude. Tom Hardy's been he's everywhere. He's in Peaky Blinders. That's one I forget to mention. People ask me what TV shows I think are good, and I forget to mention that one. If you haven't watched Peaky Blinders, you're fucking missing out. What a great TV show that is. They only make like 6 episodes a season because each episode is like a movie. It's just brilliant. Got that guy Arthur talks like this, right? It's fantastic. It's set in the north of England and about the mobs really in Birmingham in the north. And Kylo Ren is God. Yeah, dude doesn't do anything for me. Thomas Shelby is God, right? Yeah, Peaky Blinders is really, really fucking good. What's up, FF Mountain, Laurel? Good to see you here, my girl. But I cannot get enough of Peaky Blinders. He's Arthur. Thomas Shelby's brother Arthur talks like this all the time. What are you talking about? Gravelly voice. Christian Bale, your favorite Batman? Yeah, it's hard to argue with. Those are good movies, but Chris Nolan? What a great fucking director. Did you start Squid Game? You know what? Everyone raves about Squid Game, and I watched I watched it in the background while my girlfriend watched it, and she put on the fucking dubbing, right? And no, I love you all, I know that, but if you guys watch foreign TV shows dubbed into English instead of reading the subtitles and listening in the native language, then you're missing out because you lose all the emotional content. You lose all the ability to read the feelings behind the actor's words when you listen to that crappy dubbing, and it's just sounds just like wrong. Well, hey, wait, better get to work right away because our task starts now. Whatever. So I watched like it kind of spoiled it for me because I kind of know what happens now, but I do want to go back and watch Squid Game in the original Korean with the subtitles because it's just I don't dubbing is for monkeys, man. I do not watch fucking movies that are dubbed. It's just it disgusts me ugly. Penny, do you guys like Penny Dreadful? I could never get into it. I really wanted to like it. I like Timothy Dalton, and I love the concept, and it just never grabbed me. Roger Moore is your James Bond. I know what that's like, Mountain Laurel, because those were the Bonds when I was young. The Sean Connery was already done with Bond by the time I was old enough to watch Bond, and so Bond was Roger Moore to me because those were all the and a couple of those early ones were fucking great. Live and Let Die, or yeah, Live and Let Die, right, with Jane Seymour and the whole New Orleans. A couple of those Bonds are great, and I think he did it. In retrospect, it's like yeah, Sean Connery was probably the best Bond because it was the original and it was great and it was from the day and it was kind of had that. I heard someone describe it as insouciance. Great fucking word, insouciance that you can't really get away with anymore because it's just not politically correct to be the way Bond was back in the day. Just such a womanizer and all of that crap. Um, but Roger Moore to follow in Bond in Sean Connery's footsteps to completely reinvent the character and make it more about a wisecracking, more of a gentlemanly kind of upper class, just always with a smirk on his face and a wisecrack instead of a punch you in the face and you got to give it up. Roger Moore was a good Bond, and I won't tolerate anybody dissing the Roger Moore Bond movies. David Bowie he was God. One great film overlooked is Death Race 2000 with David. Isn't David Carradine in that? Um, Roger Moore was the worst Bond. Listen, I just told you, I'm not gonna put up with that. No, no, no. Violation. Hard to say that he was the worst Bond. Did you watch George Lazenby? When he made it one movie because he sucked so bad. Yeah, you know what? I've always been a Pierce Brosnan fan, and those none of those movies were terribly good. I didn't like this, but it wasn't his fault. I thought he made a good Bond. I just thought the movies were too action driven and explosive-y and not cool enough. I did watch the new Bond. I like Daniel Craig, and I thought that was a pretty good movie for his swan song as Bond. I won't give you any spoilers there, but I did go see that um, last week, pretty much right away when it came out. Moore was privately super religious and tried to downplay the violence of the role. Really? Okay. Uh, my dad went to school with David Bowie. Wow, that's one degree of separation. That's fucking cool, Jimmy. Are you British? I did an interview with a woman who dated David Bowie. She was right before he got famous. She was David Bowie's girlfriend in like '67, I want to say. And her name's Mary Finnegan. She's an old lady now and journalist in England that I interviewed about the scandals in the Buddhist temples where kids are getting molested in Buddhist temples and no one says anything about it, and it's overshadowed by the Catholic scandals. You thought Lazenby was a great Bond? I think they cast him because he looked like Connery, right? I think that's the only reason he got the job. But there's a reason he only made one movie. How many Bond books were there originally? I don't know because people kept on writing them, right? And they're still writing them. Probably somebody's still writing them. But original Ian Fleming books, I don't know. Uh, 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 yeah, I like Robin Williams. I admired his ability to just do stand up without any scripting. Right, he was Mr. Ad Lib. He was, he would just go on rants, and he had a rare genius, a rare talent. And it's sad. The whole thing was sad. He made a bunch of bad movies, didn't he? But he made a couple of good ones. Um, that's cool, man. If you read Bowie's biography, my dad is credited in it for some photos, and there's a little. That's neat, man. Um, who could be very crude. Yeah, he was an amazing comedian. Just a very unique brain. Laz got the job because he snuck into the producer's office and auditioned without a meeting, and they were all like, "Wow, he kind of looks like Connery. Let's without the toupee. He has his own hair. Drive-by fruiting. What's up with drive-by fruiting? What's that mean? By the light of a salt lamp. What was with that weird thunderstorm we had? It lasted like 5 minutes. It was really lightning here, man, uh, for just a little bit, and then it rained for like less. It's like didn't even make the ground wet. Um, my sister's college roommate was Nancy Wilson of Heart. Always had a secret crush on Nancy Wilson. I always wished that she was more of the front woman than Anne, who got to sing and be out front more. Because I had a smoking crush on Nancy Wilson when I was growing up. This chicks who play guitar is cool, man. You grew up in the FLDS cult? What's that? The Latter Day Saints? FLDS? What's FLDS? Is that not the Mormons? Um, yeah, Robin Williams was an amazing guy. It's too bad. Oh well, yeah, Crude. There's nothing wrong with Crude. I got no problem with Crude. Uh, oh, Mrs. Doubtfire again. This is another Robin Williams movie that talk about Pierce Brosnan, right? Wasn't he in that? I've never actually watched the whole Mrs. Doubtfire, but I don't know. Where is Ginger? What are you doing, girl? Ginger, she's here. Ginger, what are you doing? People are asking for you. What are you doing? Come on, come on, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Jump, jump up. What are you being shy? She doesn't want to show her face. I don't know why. She usually jumps up on me if I ask her. She wants me to get down on the floor and rub her belly. She's so submissive. This dog, she'll roll over on her back, and whenever I call her name, just lay there and want me to tickle her belly. Um, yeah, Ann Wilson was talented too. Yeah, I don't know about that. Um, I like Chrissy Hind, honestly. Um, did you watch the pumpkin video? Did it come out good? Good, good, good. I've been wanting to do that one for a while or something like that because it's pumpkin season. So I'm glad it worked. Has knock on wood, knock on wood. Striped pajama, FAHG. What's that mean? A Hilter 69. What do you think about the idea that Bond is a Time Lord like Doctor Who? I was never a Doctor Who guy, never got in that. I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that. You make sure everyone has enough vitamin C by dragging by hand and fruit. Oh, the fundamental Latter-day Saints. Is that what FLDS is? What's the ones who still have countless wives? Oh, is that right? They're doing they're still doing polygamy, right? Um, that's cool. You like Pat Benatar? I feel like it was a little bit poppy. She could sing though. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, I offhand though, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give Chrissy Hine the nod. Pretenders is a great band, or was. Um, if you don't like Pretenders, then we got nothing to say to each other. Uh, he was like, "I fooled you good. Must be able to play a spy, huh?" Don't know what that means. You're talking about something that I missed. Monkey Wafer joins. What's up? Radical pennies. Thanks for which you radical dimes, you radical pennies. What about the nickels, my friend? Where's the nickels? Anybody like brother Dege? Dege? What's that? Brother Deej? Where did I get the construction equipment? We have it's a landscape business that we have. So yeah, we have a skid steer. Which made me think of it. I'm like, wait a minute, I can smash stuff good with this with this machine. I don't know who that is. I'll have to check it out. Does anybody know? Brother Deege? Is that how you say it? Nickels may be one of my last resorts. Yeah. Pennies are probably worth more than nickels if you find one that's actually made out of copper now. Thanks for the likes, Nana. Appreciate you. Oh, please. I really like to lie, but you muted me the other day. I was bummed. Why? Why'd you get muted, Scott? What'd you say? I don't mute anybody. It's the moderators. You got to be careful. We're like the airport. You can't joke about having a bomb if you're in the airport, or you'll get dragged into the back. And unfortunately, I got too many lives taken down by people who mass report butthurt Christians who are on here to make problems. So thanks for coming back. Sorry you got blocked, dude. That's too bad. I wonder what you did. Who blocked Scott Porter 440, and why did you mute him? He's Scott Porter 440. Radical pesos. There you go. Pesos radicales. Christian guy on my FYP says he was gonna smash Satan. Really? Um, Even God can't smash Satan. So if Christian guy in your FYP says he can do it, good for him. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see some evidence of that. Um, no, you can't hate Stevie Nicks. What a fucking songwriter. I don't know about, she's an okay singer and all, but it's her songwriting. She's written an amazing amount of really, really, really good songs. I don't listen to many oldies, but Karen Carpenter is famous. Karen Carpenter was so talented. That was really sad. I grew up with the Carpenters, and you can make fun of them if you want, but my mom was kind of a, AM radio type. We heard a lot of Carpenters, Sonny and Cher, Barry Manilow. Compared to like other people's parents were like Rolling Stones and Beatles. My parents were like, eh. My dad didn't even. He doesn't hear music because he's tone deaf as hell. Yeah, a little X already smashed Satan, right? Haha. Uh, Yeah, first prove to me that Satan and God exists, and then we'll talk about smashing him. But that's pretty funny. Um, but yeah, you guys aren't owning up to it. I don't know. Crazy Cat Lady might have gone to bed already. She said she was gonna maybe not be here. She was here in the beginning. Um, but yeah, the Carpenters. I have all their albums because my mom finally gave up on what she would call rock and roll. It's hard to call that rock and roll, I think, but she just went country at some point, when she went born again, she kind of went country and got rid of, and she just like gave me all her old albums. So I got a bunch of albums that I never listened to necessarily, but they were always on in the background of my house, and a lot of that is Carpenters, and that's among those are among the good ones. You remember the Osmond Show? I do remember the Osmond Show. Yeah, yeah, I had a big crush on Marie Osmond. I thought she was hot when I was 12. Thanks, Naughty Yui, Naughty Yui. Also saw the Smashing Pumpkins video. Um, yeah, the Osmond Show. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. Uh, do people know everyone how wrote the Bibles? Do people know everyone how wrote the Bible everyone who wrote the Bible sacrificed animals? Yeah, most people sacrificed animals in most religions back in the day. I mean, you know, they thought that God wanted dead animals. I guess this is for you, and then they're like, I guess he's not going to eat it. Yeah, I saw AHS Coven with Stevie Nicks. What's that? AHS Coven? Is that a different band? Well, I don't know what that is. Um, also, who was one of the great voices in rock and roll, Linda Ronstadt. People forget, but I have to put her up there too. What a fucking God! And she can't sing anymore. I don't know if she got Parkinson's. She's a little old lady now, man. In the '70s, for this 14-year-old, there was nobody hotter than Linda Ronstadt for a few years there, and she can really, really sing. Man, what a great voice. My favorite genre of music is new wave. I just heard some Elvis Costello. I walked into a Jimmy John's today, and they had Elvis Costello from The Day on. It was Welcome to the Working Week from his first album, and I was like, "Wow, man, this still sounds so good." But that's the shit that I always go back to. It was for me. It was Elvis Costello, The Jam, Boomtown Rats. Bob Geldof is a genius and a great humanitarian too, and an atheist. I want to say. Um, You're still there, girl? All right. I don't know. We were talking about I forget why I brought it up just recently, but we were talking about the comments that you get that can't get taken down, even though you report them and they're disgusting, and people are like, it's not a problem. What what about American Horror Story? Oh, A. Was she in that? Oh yeah, I think I did watch that one. Yeah. Yeah. Now I remember. But yeah, Mushroom, you're talking about Stevie Nicks when she, yeah, from back in the day. Man, was she pretty. Jessica Lange is so amazing in her. Jessica Lange's one of the best actresses that's ever been. She's underrated even today when people know how great she was. She like made that series. The first 2 or 3 seasons she was in, the first couple. What a great actress. She's just fantastic. Everything she does is fucking magic. 12-year-old boys think damn near everything is hot. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe 14-year-old. I don't know. 12. I was a late bloomer. Um, uh, oh, not you, like not you. I get it. Not you with those. I put naughty. I put the Y with not. Yeah, not you, like not you. Uh, uh, because there was only one you, and you are you because I'm not you. I get it. It's pretty good. Uh, Full circle. Smashing Pumpkins covered Fleetwood Mac. Did they? What did they sing? God loves some barbecue. Yeah, does he? You're like some birria, some goat. Uh, did you ever get so frustrated at religious people you just want to shake some sense into them? Oh God, yes, of course. Um, yeah, no, now I remember Gay Swing. Thank you. I did watch Coven. I remember Stevie Nicks guesting on that. That's true. Uh, you know what? Too much monkey biz. I was at the last 2 Grateful Dead shows. The last 2 in 1995, Soldier Field, Chicago. Jerry was dead 2 weeks later or a month later. And that was the last, those were the last shows that the Grateful Dead ever did as the Grateful Dead. And I was not a Deadhead. I finally said to my buddy who was a Deadhead, I'm like, you know what? Get me tickets. They're coming to town. How many more chances are you going to get? Even back then, and you're like, huh, you know, I should go see him if I have a chance, but and it was fucking amazing. That was 2 of the best nights of my life. And some clean acid. Ooh, you met Elvis Costello. That's cool, man. Elvis Costello was great. One of the best songwriters that's ever lived. Joan Jett was your crush, really? Ooh, okay. Something for everybody. I think Joan Jett's not terribly pretty, but well, whatever floats your boat, buddy. Let's hear it for Christian rock bands, baby. Yeah, okay. Not you, not me. Uh, I met Sonny Barger. Who's Sonny Barger? Jessica Lange could play Darth Vader and still be the right choice. She maybe did. We don't know who was under that mask. Um, you were in high school when in San Diego when Boomtown Rats wrote the "I don't love I hate Mondays" song. Was that what that is? That's one of the only songs that people know about the Boomtown Rats. So thanks for bringing them up, or I know I brought them up, but thanks for mentioning them. The couple of their first albums are still. I still bring them up on my playlist because they're just fucking fantastic. Oh, Landslide. Okay, that's right. Yeah, Landslide. And Billy Corgan's scratchy, squeaky voice. I do remember that Landslide. Speaking of the greats, Ricky Gervais, because yeah, I like Ricky Gervais. The shirt, I should turn it around. The shirt is my atheist um, atheism. What's missing? Shirt, a T-shirt. I made that up. It's based on the church sign. What's missing from church, and it was CH blank blank CH. Right? It's a church sign. What's missing? You are. And I just looked at that one day. And I happened to look at the word atheism and realized that he is in the middle of the word atheism, and so I just thought of making a play on that sign, that church sign. Yeah, was that about? I remember that. I don't like Mondays. Was about a shooting, but I didn't realize it was in San Diego. The religion of Muad'Dib will spice things up this Friday. 2 days. What's Muad'Dib? Don't know what that is. Um, yeah, dude, go on. I'm pretty sure you can get them on my Cafe Press. It's in the bio. Go to the shop and see if you can get. I don't know what they have, triple X or whatever the hell. If not, let me know, man. I'll hook you up. Thanks. I feel like everybody's seen the T-shirt. I don't wear it. I wear it for this live, and I wear it if I go into an atheist event, and sometimes I'll wear it in public. It always gets like people are like, I wore it to Hobby Lobby one day, honestly. Uh, Hello, honey girl, sweetie. What's up? Yeah, Tim Minchin's great. What a genius. You had a little crush on Roger Daltrey? I think everybody did. How did you not watch Tommy and be like looking up at the screen at the blonde curls coming down? And, yeah, Roger Daltrey, good rock and roll front man. What can you say? I read the whole Dune series years ago and was so disappointed in the old movie. Yeah, well, the old movie sucked. I mean, I didn't even go see it. It got such bad reviews. And I can't wait for the reboot. Now, I've never read them personally, but who doesn't love Zendaya? What a talent, you know? And the new Dune, the previews look pretty good for it. Tim mentioned only a ginger can call another ginger ginger. Is that so? I didn't know that was the rule, man. I call anybody ginger. What's for dinner, my guy? Heather wants to know. And we were out and got Popeyes, right? They don't do that very often, but we're like, craving some fried chicken, man. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Got a Popeyes down the road, and didn't feel like cooking anything. So yeah, we grabbed up some Popeyes, me and the girlfriend, and then that'll be sitting there for me when I get off tonight. Being an atheist has ruined a lot of fiction movies for me. I laugh at the wrong time. That's good. Um, I got a major cast and big budget. So yeah, it does. It really does. So, but that doesn't mean anything. Have I read Deconverted by Seth Andrews? No, I don't read a lot. I don't, I don't. I know Seth Andrews. Seth and I have chilled. I've had drinks with the guy. I've done work with the guy. I can call him if I need him. We don't talk a lot, but I know his real name, and I'm not going to tell you because he doesn't want it known. But Seth Andrews, not his real name. Um, but yeah, I've not read his. I'm familiar with his story. He was a Christian broadcaster, right? He's got the fucking golden voice, doesn't he? God, what a great voice the guy has. Um, it's just got a timbre to it, you know. I mean, that you can't copy, you can't mimic. It's just so him, and he's such a good guy. He's like squeaky clean. He doesn't have any skeletons in his closet. He doesn't have anything shitty anybody can say about him. I really think he's one of the better ambassadors um, for atheism out there. And I urged him to run for office. I'm like, you know what? I would do it, but they're gonna fucking find out that I smoke pot every day for 1,000 years. They're gonna find out that I, whatever. I got some shit that people are gonna bring up, some dick pics out there probably. Um, but this dude, he could run for office and win because he's just that nice. He's nice. He's not mean to anybody. He's just a great ambassador for atheism. Yeah, pot's legal in some places, but still, it's makes it hard to get elected if people know you're a degenerate pothead. Okay, someone bring the skeleton in the closet was there when you moved up, and it's still there. Right? You haven't cleaned it out. Do you have any book recommendations for new atheists? Again, I'm not that guy. I was an atheist for 20 years before the God Delusion came out, and before Sam Harris's books came out, and before, God is Not Great, by Hitchens. But the book I'm recommending right now is my guy Andrew Seidel wrote a book called The Founding Myth: Why Christian Nationalism is Un-American, and that's the book I'm recommending. Because it's fucking great, and anybody who's fighting what we're fighting here, which is Christofascism and Christian nationalism and a would-be theocracy at the hands of the evangelicals, need to read that book. It'll give you the equipment you need to argue with your idiot friends who think this is a Christian nation, and it'll tell you exactly why it's not. You call it Roger? I just saw Larry David as a name. Well, that's not surprising. Most Jews are atheists. Most modern Jewish people are atheists unless they're involved in some kind of conservative denomination, and they really have a God belief that that's still not much like the Christian belief where there's a heaven and a hell and all that shit. But most of the Jews I meet are atheists. You call that skeleton Roger? Is he jolly? uh, You stopped going to church as soon as you left home? Yeah, that's kinda what happened with me. I was pretty much done with it by the time I was 16, 17 anyway, but I church was okay for me. It was social. I saw my friends. It was only an hour. We didn't have any fucking I tell you what, man, when you grow up in New England and you go to a church from a mainline Protestant denomination, people don't put up with that shit going longer than an hour. I'm gonna fucking tell you what. It's Sunday, and the preacher had a decent sermon, and people would go. They'd sing their three hymns. They'd put their few bucks in the plate. They'd listen to some kid read something from the Bible, and then the preacher had a sermon, and the choir sang a couple songs, and sometimes they fixed something up special. But man, if that service started going long because of the sermon, people would literally be looking at their watches like, "All right, mouth, it's time to shut it down. We got to go home. There's fucking work to do around the place. There's football on." Nobody put up with that crap. And it's just like, people going to these, black churches, then the fucking church lasts all goddamn day. You go to these Pentecostal churches and it lasts all goddamn day. And you're in there for, it's supposed to be 11 to 1, and you're in until 4 fucking o'clock. And then you got to stay afterwards and blab with people and get your gossip in. Thanks, honey girl, sweetie. I enjoy you being on my Sunday lives. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. If Sunday is a day of rest, why do they get up early? Yeah, right. They can't work though. Uh, my Pentecostal church prided itself on how long it was. Yeah, I believe that. And it's like some of these churches are, and some of the people are into it. And it's like all that tells me is you need a life, man. If like church is so exciting to you that you want it to last all day, you need to get a fucking hobby. My husband had to go to church twice a week in his whole childhood. Ooh, yeah, that's rough, man. Where are you going to church twice a week? Is that like I mean, Catholics can go every day if they're in the right parish, right? I know, Heather. You had to stand up for the whole thing too, right? And clap and be ready to put your arms in the air and shout out and talk in tongues and all that kind of crap. Alabama. John Malkovich is a train conductor. Am I John Malkovich now? I don't know. Uh, I hear a lot of things. Or somebody called me Bradley Whitford at some point. I'm like, I don't have any hair at all. Bradley Whitford's got like a nice thatch of white hair atop his waspy head. How do you know you're a wasp? If your name is Bradley Whitford, you're a wasp. I had a student tell me she couldn't do homework because of church events. She's failing. Yeah, well, but church is more important than the education in her world, I'm sure. Um, Lord Brownington that said that. Thanks for being here, Lord Brownington. John Malkovich, spelled with an H, and I'm way better looking than that dude. Kind of a funny looking guy, John Malkovich. I saw him play one of the sons in Happy, I think, in Death of a Salesman with Dustin Hoffman in Chicago, way back in the '80s. I'm from Iowa. Almost all white Christians everywhere. Almost. What else is there in Iowa besides white Christians and corn and hogs? Iowa's a good state. I don't mean to get down on Iowa. Yeah, WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Come on. If your name is Bradley Whitford, you probably went to prep school. Your dad was probably named Bradley Whitford the third, and you were like the fourth or the sixth. Um, uh, who he is so weird. Definitely Malkovich. Yeah, I'm a little younger than Malkovich. Not a ton. No, not a ton. Uh, Chicago actor. I used to see him around, for the Steppenwolf before he went to Hollywood to make movies that he doesn't like. You ever heard him talk about that? He hates the fucking movies. Uh, at one point, you went to church literally every day. The gayest twink went to church every day. Say it's not so, gayest twink. What church? Whoo. Yeah, I guess your eyes would spin. Spits farts. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Have you seen Alien, the Ridley Scott film? Thanks for putting that in the question box. Remember, if you do have a question that you don't want me to miss, put it in the dialogue box at the bottom of the page here. And nothing going on. Wildheart left me on YouTube. Nothing going on there. I keep looking over, but no one's there. Of course, I've seen Alien. I love Ridley Scott. I think Ridley Scott, a visionary director, and got a new movie coming out too, I want to say. But Alien, yeah. What can you say? And ooh, I was a big Sigourney Weaver fan. I love tall women. I always have. and Sigourney Weaver. That was sexy stuff. Her beating up aliens, and Ridley Scott long been a big proponent of the feminine hero in movies. That right, she was the hero of that movie and the badass who survives to the end. In a day when that was 79, I want to say that came out. You didn't see that back in the day. There weren't those kind of movies. And he, of course, famously went on to do Thelma and Louise. Um, and probably some other G.I. Jane, I think, was him too. So he's always been a powerful advocate in films for the female lead protagonist who's actually the tough guy in the movie, and well, a long way towards changing the stereotypes of in the movies where it always had to be the man who was macho, in the saving the damsel in distress. I did see Prometheus. I like Prometheus. I like most of his movies. He's rarely made a misstep. Blade Runner always will be one of my favorite movies that's ever been made. Um, it was called The Rock Church. It's really popular in San Diego, yeah, I want to smash my head in with a rock if they made me go every damn day. Great ADHD gig. What's that? Thanks, No Pot, for talking about this shirt again. You don't like wasps, the bug, or the Christians? Wasps is not really much about the Christianity. Wasps, I think, refers more to, man. When I mirror the video, it makes when I take the mirroring off, it throws me off. Yeah, wasp refers more to socioeconomic demographic than it really does to their Protestantism. That just means that they came from the Puritan stock that started the country, really, and weren't Catholics. They were definitely not Catholics. I want to make this clear: we're not Catholics. The question box down at the bottom. You don't have that? Come on, Matt. You're a follower. Right at the bottom, middle of the bottom of the screen. Don't you have a dialogue box with a question mark in it? My fave alien was Paul. What's that mean? Uh, Hello, sauce Keuchiha. What's up? Thanks for being here. I found out that the other girl in Alien was a transgender. She was a little bit butch. I remember that. R.I.P. H.R. Geiger. Who's that? Which atheist inspired you most in your life so far? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a Hitchens guy. I wouldn't say any atheist really necessarily inspired me. I've been an atheist for so long that all these new, public atheist figures, they didn't mean anything to me, But George Carlin's not really an atheist. I met his daughter and worked with his daughter, and he was non-religious and not, an anti-theist. Um, but not really an atheist. He was a seeker and more of a spiritual guy. And this is straight from his daughter, who I worked with. And that close to meeting George Carlin. He was already gone. But that was cool as hell. I grew up in the Baptist church, Christian. I grew up with a Baptist Christian mother and the co-founder of FFRF. Oh, it's Spitzfarts talking. Um, Super confusing childhood. Well, he wasn't always an atheist, right? Talking about Dan Barker, of course, our guy Spitzfarts is Dan Barker's son, and Dan Barker, one of the most recognizable atheists on the planet. If you don't know who he is, we're going to set up a live, and we'll do it from Spitzfart's phone here, and we'll have Dan Barker on one of our lives, and that should be interesting for everybody. If you don't know who he is, you need to. He's great, but wouldn't he have been a Christian at that point when he was with your Baptist Christian mother? Because I mean, he was a pastor, wasn't he? Wasn't he a preacher too before he saw the light? What's my favorite Eminem song? I don't know. That first album's really good, isn't it? Um, I don't know. You could pick one probably off of that first album. We used to play it over and over, and my daughter was probably 4 or 5 years old, and we were in Hawaii, and we put that CD in the car and played it over and over, and then she like came to know some of the words, and then she'd be singing along with her. We had a little 4-year-old girl in the back saying, "You don't fuck with Shady, 'cause Shady We'll fucking kill you wherever it goes, right? I'm looking back and here's my 4-year-old daughter singing along to fucking Eminem. You were too young to remember when he was a pastor? Yeah. Lucky you, man, that you got lucky there. I don't know Primus, buddy. Come on. You know I'm not a metal guy. Primus. Sounds so dirty. Do you like Primus? Are you into Primus? Recovering Catholic, Mama Lion. Good luck with that, and welcome to the fold. You know, recovering Catholic is. I think most Catholics are recovering. They're either recovering from childhood abuse at the hands of their priest, they're recovering from the guilt and fear that their parents laid on them their whole lives, and the church did. So I think Catholics who are still Catholics can be described as recovering Catholics, as they're all recovering from some bullshit. Uh, Primus isn't metal? I don't know. I don't know really know Primus. Um, Maybe I'll give it a listen, bud. Um, it just doesn't sound like a metal name. Primus, like Crocus or some of these other freaking bands. I don't know. Uh, have you watched Dragon Ball Z? You know, I have not watched Dragon Ball Z. Is it worth watching? Chisel Soul asks. Um, my kids have. You know, my boy is big into anime, and you know, the anime that I've seen, I've loved. I think that's anime, right? Dragon Ball Z. I've watched the Demon Slayer movie, was just fucking brilliant. If you haven't seen that, treat yourself. And even if you don't think you're gonna like anime and you haven't seen the series, which is season one of the series, is uh the movie's kind of season two. It kind of takes up right where the series ends. Apparently, I still haven't gotten around to watching the series, and I will. I've promised myself I will because it was fucking great. The movie was absolutely great. Some of the coolest, best animation I'd ever seen. I had no idea really what to expect, but it was easy to get into it. I didn't need to. I didn't feel like I was missing plot, you know, because I didn't see the season of it. But that's good shit. Demon Slayer. Uh, you want to shoot for this Sunday? It's do it at 10:30 our time. Um, yeah, if you're up for it, let's try to set that up. You might need to remind me how to do the guest thing again. Um, Spitz farts over 9,000. What's that? Ben believes not. Do you think freedom exists? Um, More than free will, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's a deep question, right? You know, certain freedoms exist. I don't know if ultimate freedom is probably something we don't really have. I guess because we're all enslaved in some ways by our own minds, even. Um, but yeah, I think it's possible to be free if you're really looking for that. I'm hoping for season two of Wayne. Yeah, they better make that. That was great, man. That was really, really good. What's up with the hat? Are you an engineer? Infinity Building. Are you new here? Yeah, AM. Yeah, it's 10:30 AM. I do it at church time. Um, and obviously I could start and you guys could jump on at 11 or whatever. I usually go for 2 hours, and I don't know if you'd be up for that long. And I mean, if people have questions for him, it might go for a long time. So uh, if you can do it, let's try to set it up. We'll go for it. Count Duckula is well. Watch it. Okay. Have I seen any Godzilla movies? Not really. No, I haven't really looked at like the new ones, the modern ones. I think the Matthew Broderick one got such bad reviews that it was unwatchable. I think. Um, and the newer one that came out, I don't know. It didn't thrill me. I probably saw in the day on Saturday mornings. I probably saw some of the old Japanese Godzilla films. I'm thinking Wayne was a reimagining of Conan the Barbarian. I think that's what it was. Okay. I don't think I've ever actually seen Conan, honestly. Not a big B movie guy. Um, I probably have to join at 11:30 on Sunday rather than 10:30 for the live. That's okay. I usually go to 12:30. Um, have you heard of Jesus Ween? No. Is that the Christians making a Halloween that's Jesus Ween? Jesus Ween sounds dirty. That sounds like you're talking about the old boy's penis, doesn't it? Hey man, have you seen Jesus Ween? No, he's got a robe on. I can't see his ween. Vegetarian vampire cartoon. That's cool. Um, Count Duckula. Is that what that is? Okay. I was thinking more of the short stories than the Arnold movies. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Either way, I was never a big Conan guy. This is Honey Girl Sweet. Yes, G Quincy. 90. What's going on, my bud? Scrolling back here to see if I missed anything. Fairly well caught up here. What do you mean over 9,000? Ben believes not. Am I missing something there? What do you do here? I'm new. I just rant. This is an atheist live, and we create a safe space for atheists and people on the fence, people who want to learn about it, people who are interested in bashing religion for no other reason than it's fun and easy and mockable and stupid. So, I just I go on about whatever strikes my fancy, and I usually pull up some shit on Reddit to look at in case the conversation gets a little bit slow on here. But in general, people have um, enough comments that it keeps me thinking about stuff that I can just rant on. So, um, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of what we do. Have you not heard of Jesus Ween yet? And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. Um, yeah, no, I don't. Nobody's really pushing Jesus Ween around here, which is kind of surprising. I figured somebody would have done it, but um, nothing is more disturbing than people who don't like Halloween because they think it's gonna actually bring the devil around. Or when Halloween is like the coolest, best holiday that there is, and these fucking Christians who don't want to invoke the devil or don't want to, have fun with, the realm of the dead or whatever it is, that they just, it's just, what the fuck, man? These people literally can ruin anything. They can ruin any goddamn thing. Jesus Ween. If I saw a Jesus Ween, if I see any Jesus Ween going on, I will fuck with those people. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard of. In San Narcos Sea, trying going to try rock. You're gonna try the rock church? They save local prostitutes. That's the guy that the gayest twink said he went to rock church, right? Wasn't that what you were talking about, buddy? If you ever need a comedian to duel live with, I'm usually available. Dude, we can do a duel live, man. I'm not against it. I need a break. I love doing this, and as soon as I get on, it's so energizing. But going through my week and you know, making sure I hit every Wednesday and every Sunday, it gets to be a lot. And I do the dual lives on Friday, and then my girlfriend's even more upset that I can't spend time with her. And it's like, all right, well, the TikTok's gotten pretty big for me, so I want to make sure I keep up. I feel like it's something I set up for myself right now. I know it's an expectation that I've set up for myself and the people that I don't want to let them down. Um, Jesus Ween, imagine kids getting treatment similar to LDS on missions. Perfect for mental health. Yeah. Uh, I just can't not giggle every time someone says, "Yeah, right." That's what I'm getting at. It's like Jesus Ween. Why don't they call it like they gotta be like Messiah Ween or Christa Weenie or I don't know. There's got to be a better word. Jesus Ween just sounds really made up and dumb. Halloween is the only holiday they haven't ruined yet. We just not let them. I don't know. I feel like they've, uh, I like Thanksgiving. I don't think they've ruined Thanksgiving when they could have like really made it like an over the top Christian holiday, and it's still just kind of. I feel like it's more like an American family holiday than it really is um, Christian Thanksgiving. That is, and I love to eat and cook so much. Well, not in that order. I like to cook and then eat, but um, and never got the sense that Thanksgiving got as ugly Christian as it could, like Christmas has and Easter has, um, even though it's obviously a religious based idea. So I feel like they haven't really ruined Thanksgiving yet. I've always heard Holy Ween. See that makes more sense, man. Gaius Twink. Thank you. Holyween. That at least is like a play on words. I got to give somebody credit, even if they're an idiot Christian who made that up. At least that's clever. Tell them the devil is currently in Sydney and not allowed to travel due to COVID. So I can't travel. Uh, the devil's in Sydney. It's a good place for him. Understand working full time again this week can be trying. Yeah, it really can. Yeah, no, but if you want to go live, let's get it together. I told Kevin I'd go live with him too, because I appreciate what you guys do. I really do. It really helps a lot. It means a lot to me that my moderators are here every week for me and help out, and guys like you tune in regularly, and you got some loyalty there. So I'm all about scratching backs. Uh, 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 you just got confirmation. All right, we're good for 10:30 a.m. this Sunday. Does he have to be coherent? I don't know. Is he ever terribly coherent? I tease. He is, but uh, um, yeah, no, he's just got to be ready to answer questions. But you and I will communicate before then, and then let's do that. Let's get that done. G'day down under Deb. G'day y'all. From almost COVID-free Queensland. Nice. They almost got COVID beat down there. People getting their shots. People getting their vaccines in Queensland. Are you able to get everyone done down there? At the same time, I was seven. What? Jenny Flowers, Ohio. What's up, my girl? Cheers. Yeah, I do accents. I'm an accent guy, and I don't hear Australian very much anymore. There's a while where I always heard it for some reason, and that's really mimicry is my one of my talents, and I tend to talk like whoever I'm with. So if I went to Australia, it would be second nature. If I hear somebody talking like that, I'm going to talk back to them like that. And people are like, "Why do you do that? Are you mocking?" I'm like, "No, it just happens." When I lived in London, I came back and I had to get back. I had to grab my New England accent back because I was talking like this when I came back from living in the suburbs of London. Talking like Pete Townsend, sound like I came from White City or Shepherd's Bush there with Pete and Roger. Can you do the Minnesota accent? We look at that like, it's almost the same in Wisconsin. "Oh, yeah. Oh my god, those people that live in Minnesota, they talk like that, and their A's go over the back, uh, and they're just, oh, oh." It's kind of a Michigan to Wisconsin to Minnesota, and you get up in Minnesota, and it gets really, really, really rough, but it's not really different. I'm a real fan of accents, and I travel all over the country, and you can see how regions evolve accents that are very similar to the regions that are next to them, and certain sounds translate or transfer over to the next state, and they get changed a little bit. And it's a real northern belt thing. Really starts in upstate New York. Honestly, if you peel my people from upstate Syracuse, from north of Syracuse in Watertown area and the real snow capital of the country, they have a real unique accent, and I don't even want to try it without hearing it. But if as soon as I get with my cousins, it's second nature. And they say things like fire barn. When they mean a firehouse, we say a fire station or a firehouse. They say a fire barn. That's what they call it. And they have that barn because that A goes barn goes over to Tubby and Marty. You can go party in Marty's car, and it goes right through. It goes all the way to the northern Midwest from Chicago up, and that's you can see you can just see how that kind of stuff moves. Uh, California too, man. When I was like in Hawaii, that accent kind of goes the same way. If you're from the West Coast, I know it's not a really great one, but yeah, dude. I mean that whole Valley Girl kind of talk thing. It's similar to how they talk in Hawaii, and again, it's because they're closer, and that's the way dialect works. It's neat. Sounds very folky. What does that's the northern accent is? It's a real folky accent. Pakikaya. When I go home, my sister talks like this, and I get right back into it. I'm like, "What's going on?" You see the Sox today? Yeah. I'm missing the Red Sox too for this live. Yeah, thanks. It's not again, it's not perfect because I'm not listening. If I was with those people, it would come right out of my mouth. Um, I'm teaching your mantra locally. My mantra, you're teaching locally where you are? Yeah, Boston accent is very distinct. It is indeed, but again, it's similar throughout New England. There's certain things it has in common. If you're really from Boston, there are differences, and they're really subtle. But hey, I spent my summers vacationing in Maine. Yeah, yeah, and they talk like that up in Maine too. And it's really, um, they say half. Like you remember if you ever seen Kennedy, they say half. We're halfway there. Gonna go home and take a bath. Really, they'll say bath and not bath. Um, they like, uh, it's true, man. They say like every other word. Ingersoll, you're talking Robert Ingersoll. Um, yeah, genius thinker. People like that are, they were doing their thing decades ago. Um, we need to teach people more about those kind of free thinkers that went before us, because that's part of American history that's really lost. And Thomas Paine, and Jefferson redacting his Bible, and Lincoln being an agnostic, a clear cut non-Christian. He basically came right out and said that Christian dogma was too crazy and stupid for anyone to believe in. But we don't hear that, do we? Yeah, I'm sure Australia, depending on where you go, and if you have a good ear, you can hear the difference in the, to most people, it's on New Zealand accent sounds basically the same, but there are little differences depending on where you're from. My favorite thing from down under is when people say, like, I knew a guy from New Zealand, and his mouth hung up in the hotel room, and he said 13, 14, not 14, like we'll say the T in America, like a T, but it's like a D down there. And I would love hearing him say that. Yeah, I got 13, $14. And like 13. How do you get a D out of the middle of 13 or 14? But that's how we said it. 13, 14. Crack me up. Uh, can you make a TikTok where you fall down and do the Peter Griffin thing? Peter Griffin, yeah, with Quahog. They read Quahog. Does anybody know what a Quahog is? I feel like people don't even know. If you're not from New England or Rhode Island, you don't know what a Quahog is. And I dropped that word on Scrabble, playing Scrabble on somebody once, and they were like, "What the actual fuck?" I spelled all my letters. I used all 7 letters and spelled Quahogs. And I feel like if you're not from that part of the world, you don't even know what that is. But yeah, Peter Griffin, that Peter Griffin accent. I don't know the I don't see it a lot. Us. I don't know what you're trying to get at with that. Atheist Chico. Thanks for being here, buddy. There's one for you. I'll have to watch more Family Guy and catch one of those, or YouTube it, I guess. I didn't know there were atheists too. You didn't know there were atheists too? Where, here? I don't know what you mean, man. 14, 14 Martin. Yeah. It's a clam. Yeah, man, you're from Buffalo. You're close enough. We know what you know. You know what a quahog is. Wow, that's too bad. I almost feel bad eating one if they're hundreds of years old. But nothing like a nice quahog stew, man. Man, I miss New England when it comes to some of that stuff. We had, like, in New England, it's like you go to a bar. If you go to a bar in New England, they got steamers for you. They got cherry stones, they got steamers, they might have a quahog stew, they got clam chowder, not just on Friday, on every fucking day. All right, my friend? Um, so yeah, what are you laughing at, Rhode Island? Huh? Huh? Is that funny? Yubi Rosario? What's up, Yubi? My husband says "ruined." What? Where's he from? He says "ruined" for ruined, and it drives you crazy. Did he ruin the word for you? Ruin? Yeah, that's weird. Friday, yeah, fresh fried clam. That's what I'm talking about, man. Clam strips. I didn't even eat steak or beef and stuff. If you're going to a place like that and they had fried clam strips, oh, or clam fritters. Have you ever had real clam fritters from New England? Oh my god, it's like heaven. Oh, you lived in Boston for 10 years. Well, then you know what we're talking about. Rhode Island's like a sandbar on the fucking in between Connecticut and Massachusetts. It's like so small, and it's just like sandbar, pine trees, and bay. That's what you get. And mafia in Providence. That's what you get in Rhode Island. But that's where our beaches were, because in Connecticut it's Long Island Sound. So the beach isn't really open ocean. If you go to Connecticut Beach, it's just like it's not very it's always cloudy, and there's not really surf because of Long Island. Um, so if we went to the beach, it was over to Musquamacut, or one of the Rhode Island beaches where it was actually on the ocean. So I grew up going to Rhode Island quite a bit. I was once drawn to the religious needs of the local community. Nope, dollars given to flash in the pan. It says Jenny Flowers. I was once drawn to the religious needs of the local community. Uh, I don't know what you mean. New York Tussets equals Connecticut. Mm-mm. See, Boston was my city, though. People think of Connecticut as a suburb of New York, and half of it is, but half of it's closer to Boston. And I grew up in the very corner. You could throw a rock to Rhode Island or Massachusetts from where I grew up in Connecticut. And so Boston was my city. Yeah, it's already late, man. It's already 9:35, man. It's going fast. Sorry, buddy. Take it easy, man. Thanks for being here. Do the sleep thing and pray for snow. Dream about some snow. It'll be snowing for you soon. Is it dinner or supper? I forget. I think we used to call it supper in growing up, but it's been so long now that I say we say dinner, generally, and supper means supper club in Wisconsin, um, which is like a thing here, like a restaurant that's called a supper club, and they're up in the North Woods, and I'm not really sure why they're called a supper club, but that's where we hear the word supper, and people are like, if you call dinner supper around here, they're like, what are you talking about? But supper club they understand, but nobody calls supper. They call it dinner. Supper was what we had every night, and dinner was what you had on Sunday afternoon, the big one, growing up. Harrisburg. You're in Rice Lake. Lynn Zellering. What's up? I grew up in Central Illinois, and we had supper growing up. All right. Yeah, I think, and it might be just a sign of the changing times too. Those kind of words go in and out of fashion. Um, Jedediah asks Ritz or Saltine. Um, yeah, Ritz. The only Saltine is for cracking up in soup. You know, and somehow when you're sick, I guess you get saltines. I don't know why, because they're so bland. But saltine just means like a white person to me. Like if I hear the word saltine, I think someone's calling me a racist name. You know. But yeah, Ritz are delicious. I mean, you can eat Ritz with nothing on them, and they're good. They're just buttery and tasty. So yeah, Ritz all day, Jedediah. And yes, Gas Twink, Ritz is the only acceptable answer there. Saltines have their use. Like I said, if you got chowder and you don't have any oyster crackers, you that's what saltines are for. You bust up those things and you dunk them in your soup. But to just eat them, with stuff on them, it's just like they're just so bland. I feel like they stole them from communion. They're so bland. Itchy bitch. Thanks for joining. Swendira. What's up? Brian Mez. Aaron Kessner. Got some people joining. Thunderdome 35. Speaking of down under. Riggenbach 2022. What's going on? Thanks for being here, gang. Bring it then. What do you got? What's on your minds? I pulled a couple of things up on Twitter. This end times conspiracy theorist Rick Wiles claims that COVID-19 vaccines contain an egg that hatches into a synthetic parasite and grows into your body. The shit that people will say and the shit that people will believe never ceases to amaze me. This guy, where is it? Rick Wiles. What an idiot. What an idiot. The COVID-19 vaccines contain an egg that hatches into a synthetic parasite. If it's synthetic, how does it need an egg and grows inside your body? What a fucking moron. I saw somebody say that the vaccine turns us into literal robots. I wish. I wish. Danish is often so literal. Yeah, the Low German languages are like that, don't you find? Um, Aftensmahl is evening food. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of there's Germans like that too. I mean, the television is the farseer basically, and a speaker is like the radio is the far talker. The Fernsprecher. There's a lot of words like that that come from German that are really weirdly literally made up like that. I hope I finally get my superpowers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. If I could turn into a robot, I'd take the vaccine again, man. Give me another one. Why not? Oh, full face, but these people aren't saying. I know, yeah, it's ugly. To share community values, 15 years later, my own children benefited. Um, Sorry, Jenny, I lost the track of what you were talking about. Also, that they are nano tracking devices. It's so stupid. The whole tracking thing. Like, I saw a guy in the military say that like he was in the military in Afghanistan, and they gave them devices to so that they could be tracked, so that they wouldn't lose them, and it didn't fucking work. Right? The government, when they're trying to actually give you something to track you, can't even make it work. So the idea that the government is able to engineer uh, tracking devices and put it in a vaccine and give it to everybody is absurd. The government can't barely fucking rub their belly and scratch their head at the same fucking time. All I got was a sore arm from the vaccine. Mine wasn't too sore. It didn't. People they told me that it was you might have a sore arm, and it wasn't really sore. I want to say that maybe after the second one, the next day I felt weirdly tired for just a few hours, but I can't even say that could might have been anything. Our phones track us to within 6 feet. Yeah, I mean, if you got a phone, you're you're as well tracked as anything that you'd have to worry about. I mean, people worried about their viruses. I mean, well, they got a fucking cell phone in their pocket. It's so stupid. Government can't keep a secret. No, they probably can't. My heartbeat was faster the day after my second dose, but nothing other than that. Was it? Okay. Um, yeah, and I've heard of a few people kind of getting sick from, but I felt like it was just e- easy as pie. It was no big deal. 5G chips. BC Bill Gates needs to know my whereabouts. Yeah, the whole 5G bullshit, and people. You see some of these nutbags on social media. They're not smart enough to fucking get themselves out of a trailer in Tennessee, but they understand how the vaccines relate to 5G and self. It's like, geez, who are you watching on YouTube that you believe this fucking shit? All in all, religion is a human construct. Yeah, of course it is. Somebody else on the Christian videos, like the kickback I get is like, that's just everybody. That's you're talking about human actions, not Christian actions. And someone else is like, um, you're talking about human behavior, not religion. I'm like, religion is human behavior. What fucking don't you get about it? You know, if you're gonna say something like that, at least say God. At least then nobody can argue with you. But if you're gonna say, you're not talking about, you're talking about human nature, not true religion. Well, the humans wrote that fucking religion, and then other humans followed it. So none of that shit you get no consent from me. I don't give assent to any of the fucking ideas that um religion is somehow handed down from on high. It's like human beings made that shit up, so of course it's corrupt and shitty. This year's flu shot made you feel more sick than Moderna. I've never had a flu shot. If I had any reaction, it was mild, so I couldn't feel it. Against yeah, right. All your other pains and grumbles, the same thing with me, man. You should look at Big Nick's video. He's insane. Who's Big Nick? Uh, yeah, we need to feel special. We've got evolved brains, and we need to feel special. Um, there's no way we die, and that's the end. We have to go on. It's just too hard for people to conceive of. Who's Big Nick? Is that on TikTok? Organic juice. Organic juice. I love that. I'm scrolling back through the comments here to see if I missed any. Looks like I'm caught up. Jose Jose Mediaville. Jose Mediaville. What's up, man? Teamster Rick. What's up, Teamster Rick? Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for the likes, Kelpie83. We are going to go live with Dan Barker. It sounds like 10:30, and I hope people know who he is. I was stunned when I did a video promoting FFRF after the Indigenous school scandal. Our non-crazy crazy cat lady said this might be a good time for you to promote FFRF, and I couldn't believe the number of people that were like, "What's that organization again? Where?" Because people wanted to give money, and it's not. It's only $40 to join. It's not expensive, and you do a lot of good, and you get some membership benefits out of that. But I feel like I should call them up and be like, "Hey, on this date, did you guys see like a little uptick in memberships and people that were signing up?" Because I had people like telling me that like literally 10 or 20 people were like, I'm gonna sign up today. I'm gonna join today. What is this org? Tell me how to get there again, and what's the link?" And it was like people had never heard of it, and I feel like they do a pretty good job, self-promoting. I thought, but I was stunned at how many people didn't know who they were. So maybe it's just a TikTok thing because you're all younger, or and FFRF tends to skew older. It's a lot of old hippies that are really actively involved in FFRF. The staff is young, but Barker's not young, and Andy Laurie Gaylor's not young anymore. But do people know who Dan Barker is? You guys know who Dan Barker is? Do you remember him on the? That's where he met his now wife in the on Oprah in the '80s when Oprah couldn't believe that there was atheists out there. But the two of them were on, and they fell in love. They met there and fell in love in front of the nation's eyes, um, on Oprah. And he's a fucking genius. He's a great guy. He's a great ambassador for the movement. He's always there. He's gonna do a TikTok live with me, and we know each other. He knows who I am, and I have his phone numbers and stuff. So I can call him for other stuff, and I do if I need his help with stuff. I can call him up and he'll do it. But that's like I'm only one volunteer out of thousands across the country that he meets and works with every year, and he's always available. He's always ready with his time. He's always congenial. He's always friendly. He's always completely fucking interesting and available. It's just remarkable to me because if I did that job, I'd be like, oh god, you people just go away, because he's got like people coming up to like I like to think that I'm I got something to say and I'm interesting. Maybe I'm not, but I mean he's got people coming up and who are just like sweet people from the country, but you know that he'd rather be like getting on with his business, but he always makes time for these people who just want to come up to him and shake his hand and be like, kind of a googly eyed and thanking him, for what he does. He's always got time for it. Oh yeah, Oprah was such a dolt. She did help the Satanic Panic spawn. You were right about that. Yeah, Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil. Yeah, Oprah's a nutbag. Rich, but crazy. Way too religious. I used to drive the horse carriages in Chicago, downtown on the north side. They have horse carriages, and I think they're starting to go away now. But back in the day when I was right out of school, I got a job doing tours on the horse carriages, and it was right across from the John Hancock building and the Ritz Carlton next to it, which is where Oprah lived. And we would see her because we would be out at all hours of the night doing that job, and we would see Oprah on the street with nothing on. I mean, she's so made up, as you know. If you watch Oprah, she's so made up. If you ever saw her without her makeup and without her hair done and without her stylist helping her out with her clothes, um, yeah. So yeah, we used to see her in like a pair of sweats and a headband on, getting ready to jog around town. They were like, "Oh yeah, there's Oprah." Um, Not what you see on TV when you see her live, but that was pretty funny to see Oprah back in the day. Your mom calls her show Church Oprah. There's not enough space here to explain. I just oh, sorry, Jenny. Jenny. Humans are drawn to a collective ideal. We deeply know all be drawn to the fact we're individuals. If only people were honest about their true instincts, they would abandon religion. Yeah, well, that's probably true, and then maybe not necessarily to our benefit. I think there's something to be said for you know religion keeping like scary people in line, like people who really probably would be sociopaths without the fear of hell. I think that does exist. I think in general it's outlived its usefulness and become a net negative on society. But I do think that it has, in fact, helped people not commit uh, the crimes that they may have otherwise if they embrace their true nature. I know that's not what you really mean by that. Um, Christians don't even know this is about 50% of the Bible missing. Well, is it really missing? Because the Bible isn't a book; it's a collection of books, and so whenever somebody collected the books of the Bible to put them in the Bible that we know now, um, they left certain ones out because it didn't jibe with their message. That's why we don't have the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Judas or the Gospel of Mary not included. But were they ever included in a version of the Bible, or were they just kicked out out of consideration for one of those little books that would be put into the Bible? The Bible could be a lot bigger if they just let all of that crap in. But I'm not sure missing from the Bible is the exact way to say that. But I know all of it points to the fact that it's all made up. It's been edited by men, mostly lately, white European descended men. Um, and the Gospels weren't even written by Aramaic speakers, right? They were written in Greek, in ancient Greek, 100 years after the fact. So um, the whole idea that and this is one of the things that drove me away from Christianity right away was the idea that you have to think that the Bible is the word of God because it so clearly isn't. And nothing could be clearer than it's not the word of God. Nothing. And it always bugged me that even as a little kid, I'm like, why do we think this is the word of God? Because people say it is. It doesn't even say it is. There's no like at least the Quran starts out by saying this is the word of God. Literally, the first chapter is says, "Let there be no doubt. This is the word of God." At least that they had the smarts to put that part in. The Bible's like never, might say it in the Bible somewhere. People can point to verses where it refers to itself as being the word of God, but not because it wasn't one book. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It was cobbled together later from a bunch of little books, and nowhere does one of those books give a preface or a foreword that says what you're about to read is the true revelation of God. It doesn't even say that it is itself. It's really just hearsay. It's only indoctrination, tradition, and generation upon generation upon generation telling the next generation that this is the word of God. Is the only reason that anyone thinks it's the word of God. And that never I never got that. When my mom is a true believer, that they would all say that. And even as a believer, I'm just like, yeah, but it doesn't this isn't there's no reason that we should believe that this thing is the word of God. It's silliness. Yeah, people do bring up the thanks by the light of the salt lamp. People do bring up that up that God is a Satan, uh, or that other people on TikTok have brought that up too, and I'm not clear on it. But you're not wrong. That has now become the sort of Achilles on me, or believe in invisible people. Like I said. Yeah, and somebody else talked about their interest in mythology drove them away from Christianity too, and that's part of what happened with me. I loved it when I was in fifth grade. We studied Greek and Norse mythology, and I loved it so much that that set me down that path of like, well, why is this other mythology any more realistic or better? Why is it accepted as true and these ones aren't? And they've gone out of fashion. Didn't make any sense to me. So I think a real love of mythology will make atheists out of people for real. So yeah, hello from Thailand. What's up? Let me see if I can get that one right. Padcharamaip. That's awesome. But I'd love to go to Thailand, man. Thai women are beautiful. The and Thai men too. Don't mean to discriminate. My dad was in Thailand in the Coast Guard during Vietnam when I was little. He would have to go away for a year at a time on active duty. Just in when I was 5 and below, and some of that I was too young for. But I remember him going to Thailand and sending stuff back. He would send shit back and send you know, love letters to the family, and he would send gifts, and he brought back a bunch of cool shit. For years, our house had Thai tchotchkes, right? Knickknacks, just because that's what we had because he was in Thailand and loved it and brought back, my mom had a jewelry box that was a Thai, an elephant dragging a giant chest. And you open the chest and that was a little jewelry box. Um, So yeah, and he'd learn some phrases. He'd come back thinking he would like say some swear words and teach us in Thai, and we'd try to repeat it like it was Thai, learning a couple of words of Thai secondhand, through my dad, who was like not a language person and not an international speaker of anything. But Thailand just seems so cool and exotic and beautiful to me. Um, that's a bucket list thing. I would like to go to Thailand. Um, Anybody's seen Thai writing? The beautiful language. The written Thai language is gorgeous. It's just so pretty. It's like, wow, who came up with that, man? So much cooler than characters. So much cooler. It's like Arabic script is beautiful, right? Have you seen that? It's even cooler than that. I think the Thai language is so cool to look at. Yeah, if you're from Australia, you go to Thailand, right? And it's like a hop, skip, and a jump across the Indian Ocean or whatever you got down there to get to Thailand. So I think people from Australia, are very used to going to Thailand. Yeah, right. It's so beautiful. From Russia, what's up, Edmund? 47 from Russia. Love to see that. What's up, Gigi? ¿Cómo está, mi amiga? Isn't it crazy how some Christians really believe that evolution isn't real? I know. Like, that's so new to me, man. When I was a kid, we knew evolution was real. And we didn't, as Christians, we were like totally accepting of evolution and all scientific fact. It didn't matter to us. We just figured God was behind it all. So the denial that goes on when I was in my late 20s, and I met a kid who was from Indiana, first creationist I ever met. And he was pretty bold. He was a church boy, and he was pretty upfront with it. He wasn't, we made fun of him openly. We were like, when we found out, we're like, he's indignantly saying shit like, we didn't come from monkeys. And he would call animals stupid. He's like, it's just a dumb animal, because they were like raised to understand that humans have dominion over animals. We can do what we want with them, and they're lesser. There's somehow animals are another group that's less than humans because of Christian doctrine. And we were just me and my boss were both atheists, and we were ruthless with this kid. My boss was an ex-Catholic, but he's like didn't buy that bullshit. And both of us were just like, he thinks that like the Earth is only 6,000 years old, And then they're like, he was a good kid too, man. He could really golf. No, never forget that guy. Name was Craig. But he was honestly the first creationist I ever met. I did not meet someone who was, I'm sure I did, but I didn't know it. But he was the first guy to talk to us openly about being a creationist. I was almost 30. And we didn't have that shit in New England, man. It's like, no, this is like, yeah, go to church on Sunday, back to your job at MIT on Monday. And you don't deny what we know to be fact, even if you do go to church. I never saw any of that shit. And I'm sure there were some backwards churches there in New England at the time if you really looked for them. But in general, it was mainline Protestants, liberal congregations of Presbyterians, Episcopalians, Congregationalists, Northern Baptists, First Baptists, Methodists, Lutherans, but not crazy Lutherans, liberal Lutherans with a woman behind the pulpit. And nobody denied science. Nobody talked about hell like it was a real place. And nobody talked about Satan at work in your life and really believing that there was like an actual boogeyman by pulling strings. But I get this guy to do something evil today. Me, none of that. I never saw that. I did not know it existed until I came to the Midwest, and now here it is, like spread across the country like fucking zits. These country churches and mega churches popping up where people just taught this idiotic version of Christianity that revolves around biblical literalism, like Genesis is true, like really like historical events, just because you don't want to deny the words in the Bible because you're not smart enough to see it as metaphor or allegory. It's so dumb. Yeah, 6,000 years old. There's so many trees older than that. I got dog shit in my living room that's older than 6,000 years. They teach it in Christian schools too. Yeah, that they do. That's and again, and people and the government's giving voucher money away to people to use it for that bullshit, so the kids can get lied to. I grew up going to a liberal Lutheran. It's good for you, yeah. And that's if you grew up in New England and in other places too. There's Missouri Synod and Wisconsin Synod Lutherans are like crazy creationist types. The Missouri ones are really crazy, but old EVLA, is it? The Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, ELC, I forget. But we grew up with those were like some of the most liberal congregations when I grew up, and somewhere where you could find a woman minister, which was still rare even among congregations like I'm describing. I was still always an old boy for the most part behind the pulpit, but the Lutheran Church had a woman pastor back in the day. She was probably even gay looking back on it. Of course, Genesis isn't real. The plot is literally stolen literatures from the Mesopotamians. Yes, of course. And we found that out, right, when they went and found those tablets, Sumerian tablets and others. But yeah, it's that alphabet soup of religion names that proves it's all a joke. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but you're not wrong. But it is 10 o'clock already. Man, the time goes by. These 2 hours go so fast. I'm glad to be able to do it with you and stop and talk nonstop like I do. And thank you so much for putting up with it and being here. But I do got to go. My eyes are starting to flag, and I got to go inside and do the same thing. Get a little food and go to bed. Love you all so much. I will see you again on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. in the Central Time, and we're gonna have Dan Barker on. So spread the word. He's the head of the Freedom from Religion Foundation. He is friends with Richard Dawkins. We can ask him how big Dick Dawkins is doing, and he will tell us he routinely talks to the guy, and he's old. He can't be lasting too much longer. So bring your questions for Dan Barker and be here on Sunday. And I love you all. I will see you then. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Is there anybody on YouTube? No, there's still not. So all right.